Good evening, class. As promised, I said that we were going to be jumping right into our final project. As you can see, mine is blank, as should yours be. On the first page, we have our first floor plan, along with our general notes, front elevation, and rear elevation, as well as some notes regarding what the finishes are and what the foundation plan is made out of. On page 2, you have your right elevation and left elevation, again with some more notations as to what this house is comprised of. And then you have your all-important typical wall section. Again, this is on page 2, where you have some very important measurements that we will be getting back to here in a little while. We then have our all-important foundation plan, which this is the plan that we are going to start our project with. Right next to it, you have your roof plan with a little bit of general notes here. We're going to be color coding that. And then on your last page, you have your built-up beam detail that is on your front porch, as well as your typical exterior sheathing placement, your frieze trim detail, and then you have your porch construction section as well. So, as I said, we are going to be starting with the details on page 3, which is our foundation plan. Okay. Our foundation plan. So this is where we are going to begin the very first steps of our final project, which is beginning with Division 3, concrete. All right, so now that I've got my plans kind of tucked underneath, that way we're only looking at what we will be dealing with. This is our all-encompassing foundation plan for our residential structure for this semester. As you can see, it's got some dimension lines. It's got some annotations and some different line weights. And I'm going to go ahead and just explain a little bit of that. So just like with your in-class project, okay, you have a dashed line or a dotted line, as most of you probably have guessed based on the notation if you have found it. This is a 12 by 24 concrete footing with 3 number 4 rebar continuous, okay? That is what the dotted line indicates. You then have a skinny, pretty skinny, darker solid line running around the perimeter of your house. And that is your 4-inch brick veneer, okay? And that is what is notated here. 4 inches of brick that goes all the way around your house. And then you have your 8 inches of CMU, which is the thicker portion. We are going to ignore these little piers here. This is based on how they are constructed at the PCC for the building construction guys. But we are going to pretend like this is a continuous foundation wall and this is a permanent structure. So these guys right here, those are your CMU foundation piers. But again, we are going to pretend like it is a continuous wall. These, however, in the center, those are going to stay piers, okay? It's not going to be a continuous wall. It's just going to be a pier. So first things first, just like our in-class practice project, we are going to separate out our footings, our bricks, and our CMUs, okay? For the sanity of everyone, especially me, when it comes time for grading, we are all going to take off our house the exact same way. Okay, so we are making a executive decision right now that our horizontals, all of our horizontals, are going to run the full length. Horizontals are going to run the full length, and our verticals are going to be the short lengths. Okay, so those are going to be cut short. Just going to stop there. I'm just going to stop there. Just like in our practice project, we are going to give each footing and brick and CMU portion a different color. So you should have a total of 7 footings. And then you should have a total of 7 pier footings as well. Then you should have a total of 7 bricks and a total of 7 CMUs, as well as a total of 7 pier CMUs. Okay, so I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to be back with how I have separated out my set of plans. All right, so this is how my foundation plan is broken out. As you can see, my footings for my horizontals, as well as my brick and my CMU, all run the entire length of my wall, okay? All run the entire length of my wall. Then I have my my verticals that are cut short by my front porch construction, okay? Front porch construction. Now, just for labeling purposes, my green leg is my F1, my B1, and my C1. My left side vertical wall is my F2, B2, and C2. The exact opposite wall is my F3, B3, and C3. My front porch connection, this horizontal here, is my F4 and C4. There is no brick along this wall right here, just 8 inches of CMU. Then I have my F5, B5, and C5 on my left-hand side of my porch. My F6, B6, and C6 is on my my right-hand side. And then my last and final set is my F7, B7, and C7. And that is running across the front side of my porch. Then the piers really don't matter which way you do it, whether you start from bottom to top or top to bottom. But this is my P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, and P7 as far as my pier labeling is concerned. And that is how my foundation plan is laid out. All right, so first things first is calculating how our footing lengths, how long our footing lengths need to be. So same concept as we provided in the in-class project. As you know, I said that our all-encompassing wall section can be found on page 2 of your final project. And that is going to tell you, and as well as your foundation plan, that this is a 12-inch by 24-inch concrete footing, the exact same as our in-class project. With that being said, because you have 4 inches of brick and 8 inches of CMU, that amounts to 12. So you know that 24 subtract 12, that means that you have 12 inches left, which means that you then have 6 inches of space on both sides. So that is what my white area is on my plans, except for my F4 and C4, okay? Because remember, this is only 8 inches of CMU. So you have a little bit more takeaway on both sides for this footing here. But the exact same concept is going to be applied, which is the cheat sheet that I had provided on your Moodle account. So I want you guys to go ahead and, after you've done your coloring for your foundation plan, I want you guys to go ahead then and take care of your Division 3, which I will be going over and sending to you all on the class review page, what your scopes of work or SOWs will be for your final project. And it's going to help you determine what you need to take off for each division, okay? So stay tuned.